December 6th, 1991, Austin, Texas. A small frozen yogurt shop prepares to close for the night. 4 teenage girls, best friends, sisters, daughters, are laughing, cleaning up, and making plans for the weekend. But within an hour, all 4 will be dead. Their bodies will be discovered in a horrific scene so brutal that seasoned investigators would be haunted for decades. And yet, despite confessions, trials, overturned convictions, and suspects, more than 30 years later, the case remains unsolved. This is the story of the Austin Yogurt Shop murders, one of the most disturbing and controversial crimes in American history. It was a chilly Friday night in North Austin. The "I can't believe it's yogurt" shop on West Anderson Lane had been busy with after-school crowds, but as closing time approached, only 4 girls remained. 17-year-old Eliza Thomas was the shift supervisor working alongside 17-year-old Jennifer Harbison. Jennifer's 15-year-old sister, Sarah, had come by to help clean up, and with her was her friend, 13-year-old Amy Ayers, the youngest of the group. These girls weren't supposed to be there long. Sarah and Amy had spent the evening at the North Cross Mall and planned to sleep over at the Harbison home. They stopped in to wait for Jennifer to finish work. None of them could have known it would be their last night alive. At around midnight, a police officer on patrol noticed smoke billowing from the yogurt shop. Firefighters rushed in, believing it was a simple structure fire. But when the flames were extinguished, a grim discovery was made. The charred bodies of the 4 girls lay inside the shop. They had been bound, gagged, and shot execution style in the head. The fire had been intentionally set to destroy evidence, but even through the devastation, the brutality was unmistakable. The city of Austin was stunned. 4 young lives extinguished in an act of cruelty that defied reason. The community wanted answers immediately, but what followed was decades of confusion, false leads, and shattered justice. Detectives initially theorized the crime was a robbery gone wrong. The shop's cash register was open and money was missing. But robbery couldn't explain the level of violence. Over 50 people were interviewed in the first days. Police considered multiple suspects. Men seen loitering near the shop, suspicious customers, even employees. But physical evidence was scarce, most destroyed by the fire. Still, a haunting detail stood out. The youngest victim, Amy Ayers, had survived her first gunshot wound. Forensic evidence revealed she had been shot twice, once in the head, and left alive until her killer returned to finish the job. That fact alone horrified even veteran detectives. Years passed with no arrests, and frustration mounted. Then, in the late 1990s, police zeroed in on 4 young men: Robert Springsteen, Michael Scott, Maurice Pierce, and Forrest Wellborn. They were teenagers at the time of the murders, and Pierce had been previously arrested carrying a .22 caliber handgun, the same type used in the killings. After intense interrogations, both Robert Springsteen and Michael Scott gave detailed confessions, but almost immediately, questions arose. The confessions were inconsistent with the crime scene evidence, and critics said they were coerced through psychological pressure. Still, in 1999, Robert Springsteen was convicted and sentenced to death. Michael Scott followed, sentenced to life in prison. But then came the twist. In 2006, DNA testing on evidence from the crime scene excluded all 4 men, not just Springsteen and Scott, but also Pierce and Wellborn. A federal court overturned their convictions, ruling their confessions unreliable and improperly obtained. By 2009, all four were released. The case was once again wide open. The arrival of the DNA results added an entirely new and perplexing layer of mystery to the already convoluted case. The profiles obtained from the crime scene belonged to an unknown male, raising urgent questions that echoed through the investigation. Who was he, and what role did he play in the tragic events that unfolded that fateful night? The evidence strongly suggested that at least one unidentified perpetrator had been present in the yogurt shop during the horrific incident, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the investigation. Despite numerous attempts to identify the source of the DNA, it has never matched anyone in the extensive national databases, leaving investigators frustrated and the community yearning for answers. Within the ranks of the investigative team, a divide emerged regarding the original suspects. Some investigators remained steadfast in their belief that the four individuals initially identified were indeed involved in the crime, possibly in collaboration with this unknown assailant. Meanwhile, others contended that the police had pursued the wrong men entirely, squandering precious years of time and resources while the true killers evaded justice, slipping further into the shadows. This ongoing debate only deepened the sense of frustration and urgency as the quest for truth continued to elude those determined to bring closure to the victims' families and the grieving community. As time passed, a multitude of theories began to emerge, each one attempting to make sense of the horrific crime that had shattered the community. Some individuals speculated that it was the work of a coordinated robbery crew, targeting shops in the area with a calculated precision. Others pointed to the possibility of drifters or serial offenders who may have passed through Austin during the early 1990s, leaving a trail of violence in their wake. However, perhaps the most chilling aspect of this entire ordeal is the unsettling realization that the person or persons responsible for such a heinous act likely walked free, seamlessly blending back into society as if nothing had ever happened. The sheer brutality of the attack, characterized by execution-style shootings, sexual assault, and arson, strongly suggests the involvement of multiple perpetrators, possibly individuals with prior experience in violence, further complicating the search for justice. In response to the enduring mystery, both the FBI and the Austin Police Department have revisited the case numerous times over the years, with new DNA testing methods currently in the works in hopes of uncovering fresh leads. Meanwhile, the families of the victims remain resolute in their pursuit of answers, consistently attending press conferences and advocating for renewed investigative efforts, their voices a poignant reminder of the lives lost and the urgent need for closure in a case that continues to haunt the community. The yogurt shop murders stand as one of the most harrowing and tragic chapters in Austin's history, a dark stain that continues to cast a long shadow over the community. Four vibrant young girls, Eliza Thomas, Jennifer and Sarah Harbison, and Amy Ayers, had their lives cruelly snuffed out in an act of senseless violence that defies comprehension and leaves a profound sense of loss in its wake. Despite the passage of time, no one has been held accountable for this heinous crime, and the case remains officially open, a haunting reminder of the unresolved tragedy. Investigators and the community alike continue to hold on to hope, waiting for the breakthrough that might finally lead to justice for the victims and their grieving families. Until that day arrives, the unsettling question lingers in the air, echoing through the hearts and minds of those affected. Who killed the yogurt shop girls, and what could have driven someone to commit such an unfathomable act? The search for answers persists, fueled by the memories of the young lives lost and the relentless pursuit of truth in a case that refuses to fade from the collective consciousness of Austin. If you have information about this case, contact the Austin Police Department's Cold Case Unit. For the families, closure has been a long time coming.